Welcome once again, and thank you again for allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Let's delve into the bulletin. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has appreciated the work done by the presidential skilling industrial hubs spread across the country for their role in combating unemployment by equipping youth with practical skills for self-employment and job creation. The president said this during the commissioning of the Langor Presidential Skilling Hub in Ayaresel, Barapo Ward, Lira West Division, Lira District, and pledged to expand the skilling courses offered in the skilling hubs across the country.
We're going to increase the skills here. We're going to include motor mechanics.
President Kobonia Nyayo, Netukere Metie, Amekele Yobero, Yeo, Copel Toha, Karakel Krupi Hegene.
And plumbing.
Karakel Kope Yubopi.
Maybe also electric work.
Come might link to a Kireme Yubo, Ikaroke and Yapo.
So that they have got a bigger base of skills.
Manu don't work Unanga Mano, UPE, primary, Karakel USC, Uber senior.
And we are even, the Minister of Education is introducing a new curriculum.
Ministry of Mela Puanyere, Tia Donyo Karakel, it will make Kireme Kwananyen,
which has got an element of practical work.
Ametia Kello, Giname, Gudukom, Diro, Kere Ameo me, Ametia teaching.
Even in the colonial times, we used to do some of these things like these children are doing here, like carpentry and so on. So therefore, please, if you appreciate what is happening here, go and spread it out in the primary schools and in the secondary schools. Now, I have heard about expanding the hubs, and we shall study that. But for now, I'm going to set up a circle. Jennifer has already done that. For the graduates per district. The zone is too far, so the circle will be at the district.
Now, today, the Supreme Court ruled that the General Court Martial has no jurisdiction to try civilians, declaring that its involvement in such cases is unconstitutional. The landmark decision delivered by Chief Justice Alfonso Windolo upholds a constitutional ruling that had nullified military trials of civilians. The ruling follows a petition by the former Nakawa MP Michael Kabaziguruka, who challenged his 2016 trial before the General Court Martial, arguing that it violated his constitutional rights.
The long-awaited judgment was delivered by 7 justices of the Supreme Court, including Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo, and decisions by Justices Naiti Pasetu Haise, Faith Monda, Micah Chibita, Monica Mugenyi, Catherine Bamugemereire, and Elizabeth Musoke. In delivering the decision, the Supreme Court justices elaborately tackled the historical perspective to military courts, tracing their origin from colonial rule, but quickly noted that most had modified their operations. The Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidolo ruled that sections 197(1) and 2 of the UPDF Act contravene Article 129(1) and 126(1) of the Constitution, making them unconstitutional.
I hereby find that sections 2, now 1, 179, now 177, and 119(1)H, now 1171H, of the UPDF Act are unconstitutional insofar as they, without qualification, allow for trial of persons subject to military law for civil offences within the General Court Martial and other military courts tribunals.
Other guarantees of justice and fairness in criminal proceedings are the right to a fair trial and the right to a fair hearing as stipulated under Article 28(1) of the said Constitution. I agree that Section 1171H of the Act is to be found void for vagueness and therefore inconsistent with Article 28(1) of the Constitution.
In addition, Court ruled 119H G of the Act, which allowed the civilians to be tried by the court-martial for allegedly aiding and abetting, was also unconstitutional.
Judicial power in Uganda is exercised by the courts of judicature, and such subordinate courts as Parliament may by law establish. The court-martial system established under Section 197 of the UPDF Act is therefore one such subordinate court. I would declare that Section 197 of the UPDF Act, which establishes the General Court Martial, is not in breach of the Constitution. However, it is an overreach when the UPDF Act creates an offence that targets persons not otherwise subject to military law, making them criminally liable before the court-martials for offences of aiding and abetting. For creating such vulnerability, I would declare Section 117, which it is now, and Section 1171H, 1177 of the UPDA Act unconstitutional. I would set aside the decision of the Constitutional Court in this regard.
The 7 justices who individually made their ruling criticized the court-martial for lacking constitutional safeguard necessary for independence and impartiality required by courts of law under Section 128.
General Court Martial and other military courts are disciplinary organs of the UPDF whose jurisdiction is limited by Article 210B to handling matters related to discipline and removal of members of UPDF.
The persons selected to perform the functions of judges in military courts must display integrity and competence and show proof of the necessary legal training and qualifications, and military judges should have a status guaranteeing their independence and impartiality, in particular vis-à-vis the military hierarchy.
Justice Monica Mugenyi said the composition of officials presiding over the General Court Martial lacks legal profession and knowledge to conduct any court proceedings, and proposed that the court should be comprised of civilians appointed by the JSC rather than military officers.
These observations, I find that Section 2, Section 119, 1A to H, and Section 179 all grant jurisdiction to the General Court Martial and other military courts, which is inconsistent with Article 209A and 210B, and therefore, to the extent explained, unconstitutional and null and void.
Courts martial are not in a position to deliver a free and fair trial as guaranteed under Article 28(1) and 44 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
Justice Knight Tuhaise observed that whereas the GCM is reorganized as subordinate court, it does not have clear structures, guidelines on jurisdiction, and what judgment they are capable of making, pointing out that their jury undermines its fairness.
It is to be noted that both the General Court Martial and the Courts of Judicature, particularly the superior courts, under the respective laws that govern them, as well as the penal laws, either in the exercise of their original or appellate jurisdiction. It is also noted that under Article 123B of the Constitution of Uganda, the Director of Public Prosecutions, who is the officer charged with the function of, among others, instituting criminal proceedings against any person in that court, is exempted from instituting such criminal proceedings in a court martial.
Court also observed that the military court does not have any judicial independence, which can be seen by their nature of oath and appointment.
The interests of justice and fairness require that any court that is empowered to pass a penalty for as serious as the death penalty, or even, I dare say, imprisonment, should be presided over by competent persons with legal qualifications. The jury, the competence and capacity of that court to handle criminal trials would still be questioned.
In a 200-page ruling, court ordered all pending files in the General Court Martial to be transferred to the Directorate of Public Prosecution's office.
I would totally suspend all operations of courts martial, save for the hearing of disciplinary matters pertaining to serving officers. All convictions and sentences passed by courts martial would be suspended.
The provision of section 197, now 195 of the UPDF Act establishing the General Court Martial as a competent court is constitutional. 3. The General Court Martial created under section 197, now 195 of the UPDF Act is a subordinate court of law but with specialized jurisdiction.
I'm Ivan Juko and Deborah Namamonde for UBC.
Now, still with that landmark ruling, let's now hear more from Chief Justice Alfonso Winyi-Dolo's declarations.
The Summary Trial Authority STA and the Unit Disciplinary Committee UDC are lawfully established under 191, 192, now 189, 190 and Section 195, now Section 193 of the UPDF Act as military tribunals. The provisions of Sections 195 of the UPDF Act establishing the UPDF Act as a competent court is constitutional. The General Court Martial created under Section 197, now 195 of UPDF Act is a subordinate act of law but with specialized jurisdiction. The provisions of Section 179, 1 and 2, now Section 177, 1, 2 of the UPDF Act read together with Section 197, 2, now 195, 2, which grant the subordinate military court jurisdiction over capital offences, contravenes Article 129, 1, 2, 126, 1 of the Constitution and hence unconstitutional. The provisions of Section 191, 3, now 189, 3a, Section 195, 3 and 4, now 193, 3 and 4, read together with Section 179, 177 of the UPDF Act, which grants the STA and UDC the exercise of judicial power of detention and imprisonment of any person tried by them, contravenes Articles 23, 126, 1, 129, 1 d of the Constitution and hence unconstitutional. The provisions of the UPDF Act constituting and providing for the trial procedure of the General Court Martial, the Division Court Martial, Appeal Court, do not contain any or sufficient constitutional guarantees and safeguards to exercise their judicial functions with independence and impartial, which is a prerequisite for fair hearing, provide for in Article 31, 123(1) of the Constitution. The provision of Section 177G of the UPDF Act under which a civilian was charged and arraigned in a court-martial contravenes Article 28, 1, 44C and 21 of the Constitution and hence unconstitutional. The provisions of Section 117 HG is unconstitutional to the extent that it permits trial in court-martial of civilians who have allegedly aided and abated a commission of a crime or a service offense or ordinary criminal offense in which a person subjected to military law is a principal offender. Sections 2, 179, 191 HG, now Section 1, 177, 117 HG of UPDF Act are unconstitutional since they confer blanket jurisdiction. on court-martial to try civilians on charges, and all ongoing criminal trials or pending trial before court-martial involving civilians or pending trial must immediately cease.
Relatedly, different people at UBC TV talked to some of the people that Ugandan Broadcasting Corporation talked to, gave divergent opinions following this court ruling. Let's take a look.
This has been used as a scarecrow to suffocate dissent in this country. If you knew the hundreds of young men detained in various prisons, and those are the lucky ones who did not die, detained in various prisons for wearing a red beret, for wearing a red overall, and so on and so forth. So far, stop trying. We pray for those that have suffered injustice in the hands of the court-martial. We have consistently, persistently, and perennially been describing this as a kangaroo outfit, as a kangaroo establishment.
It's not a win for me, Michael Kabaziguruka. It is a win for the people of Uganda. It is a win for the democracy-seeking forces in this country, because the GCM has hitherto been used as a tool to fight anyone. I want to thank my legal team, led by the able Honorable Medal Lubega Segona, Councillor Samuel Muyizi, Councillor Laka, and of course the Lord Mayor, Salongo Elias Lukwago, for the battle that they fought so hard to reach here today.
Many have been tried and they have been subjected to the unfair processes before this outfit that has been holding out as a court of law. Well, we appreciate the Supreme Court for putting it out clearly that this is not a court of law. It is going to go a long way in shaping the constitutional history, in shaping the constitutional development in our country. And it is going to go further, a mileage, to shape, to restore the respect of the Constitutional Court, the respect of our judges, and the respect of the Supreme Court. Many people have started losing hope in the delays, in so many things, and the interpretations that come from this court, especially on this very subject, because we've had over 10 contradicting.
We are glad that the Supreme Court has listened to the voices of Ugandans over time, because the people of Uganda have spoken again and again, and it's important that when people speak, the courts get to listen. We are also glad that it's not just civilians that have benefited from this, but even serving military officers, because a number of them have been persecuted through the General Court-Martial, and they had no recourse anywhere they could not appeal.
The Supreme Court today has made a landmark victory. I must call it a victory, because all along we have been coming to court with already answered questions as to what will happen in court. But we usually respect court and not respect decisions. But we believe in the decisions, and now we respect the decisions taken by the Supreme Court. We are very, very delighted. As people who agitate for change, following the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, we are moving straight away to march in the military barracks to pick our people, because the pronouncement is immediate release of all people affected by the General Court-Martial.
Declared unconstitutional.
And any continuous...
So it's not possible, because now
they don't even have the powers to
they don't have
convene.
Powers to convene
no,
again.
They have been disbanded.
Exactly. So literally,
and any detention
in
now
effect,
is illegal.
In effect, the court has been disbanded.
Indeed, it was a much anticipated victory there, and throughout the day with a lot of views on social media and on our very own live broadcast. A lot of people were waiting eagerly to hear what the Supreme Court will decide. And hallelujah to that. We say it's a victory. Now, moving ahead, a Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, Balamu Barugahara, has hailed the UPDF for this sustainable peace that has ushered in a long-term economic and societal progress. Mr. Balam was launching the Tarehe Sita Celebrations Week in Bukomansimbi district. As we hear more.
As the army prepares for this historic day, the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balambaro Gahara, commended UPDF for presiding over a much more disciplined force, which has become an enabler for social and economic development.
Ndizo okutongoza emikolo egikulembera okujaganya kwa Nigeria fe eribayitanga NRA kati nga tuliyita UPDF ejeri gwanga nga lijaganya okweza emyaka 40 okuvalira batondebwawo abavubuka abali bakulembera mwami Museveni ekiseera ekyo. Mwami Museveni abulinaku abagamba nti yali muvubuka, so bye mwogerako mbu abavubuka balekedde ddala yeti yali sigala mabega ye yalwana neetaba mu nsiko ne banne ne banunula eggwanga lino. So kwe tutambulira amakuba amalungi amasanyalaze kati olaba Bukomansimbi wano tewali masanyalaze ndaba gagano gatuuse.
Coffee export for the entire country was only 2 million bags. Today we are talking of over 8 million bags from Uganda. Produced how? Because people are peaceful, they have grown coffee. And Bukomansimbi is now the leading producer in the whole country.
During the launch of Taresta Celebrations Week in Bukomansimbi district, the recently promoted Major General Felix Kulaije revealed that as a mark of celebrating the peaceful coexistence with Wanayinchi, UPDF has also renovated a 3-classroom block at St. Maurice Kitasa Primary School in Bukomansimbi district,
where the roof was a bit leaking. Some of the iron sheets had big holes where, like, when students are seated, the sun could come indirect. When it rains, the rain comes on them. So what we did, we removed the old roof.
The force will also set up a medical camp to offer free medical services like eye screening, dental services, surgery at designated health centers in Greater Masaka.
So when we come to give part of the little that the government gives us, we are saying thank you for supporting us. We honor you and we still need you, because without you we can't survive. We offer dental services, eye care, general, prenatal and antenatal services. We are going to give out mama kit, or we have been giving out. We are going to do surgery. We have doctors who have capability. So all the health center for and the Masaka Referral Hospital are centers for this surgery.
We are going to have a camp, a mobile camp at Vigasa Health Center. We are going to have another one at Buwenda Primary School. We are going to have another one in Chirinda, and then the major surgical camp at Utenga Health Center 4. So we are mobilizing, using all the resources that we have to make sure that the people turn up in big numbers. The services are free of charge, and we are able to handle all numbers.
The UPDF with Minister Balam also conducted a tree planting exercise as a sign of preserving nature and environment. The Taresta Day celebrations will be held in Greater Masaka on February 6th.
The NRA, the start of NRA, when our leader was going to attack Kabamba, he used this very road here. In fact, when the vehicle which was taking him got stuck at Katigondo, he had to go back to Masaka to get somebody to help him.
The 41 soldiers, of whom 27 were armed, led by President Museveni, launched a guerrilla war in 1981. This force would later metamorphose into the UPDF that we see today. Today, Uganda stands tall as a beacon of hope and stability in the region. Crispus Adinitwe, UBC News.
Thank you very much, Crispus Adinitwe. Now into community health. Ministry of Health is collaborating with other partners to digitize the work of community health workers. The aim is to leverage on digital solutions for health to transform health service delivery, especially to the grassroots people.
As the Army prepares for this historic day, the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balambaro Gahara, commended UPDF for presiding over a much more disciplined force, which has become an enabler for social and economic development.
Ndizo okutongoza emikolo egikulembera okujaganya kwa Nigeria fe eri bayitanga NRA kati nga tuliyita UPDF ejeri gwanga nga lijaganya okweza emyaka 44 okuvalirwa atondebwawo abavubuka abali bakulembera mwami Museveni ekiseera ekyo. Mwami Museveni abuli lunaku abagamba nti yali muvubuka, so bye mwogerako mbu abavubuka balekedde eddala yeti yali sigala mabega ye yalwana neetaba mu nsiko ne banne ne banunula eggwanga lino. So kwe tutambulira amakuba amalungi amasanyalaze kati olaba bukoma simba wano tewali masanyalaze ndaba gagano gatuuse.
Coffee export for the entire country was only 2 million bags. Today we are talking of over 8 million bags.
Ministry of Health is leveraging on strategic partnerships to implement the community health strategy with the aim to improve access to basic health services. Working with Ministry of Health, AMREF Health Africa, with support from FISA Foundation, implemented a one-year project dubbed Strengthening Community Health Workforce in Africa. The project, implemented in West Nile region, supported community village health teams with digital tools like smartphones and trainings to boost service provision.
Where we've had actually 100% of Moyo district being covered by, first of all, community health workers who are equipped, who are using digital tools, and who are compensated through innovative financing. And by going 100% coverage, we actually have ensured that we start the initiative of actually universal health coverage. So this initiative is a start, but we know that through the National Community Health Strategy, the government intention is actually to make sure that every part of this country is covered by well-trained, well-equipped, well-compensated community health workers.
Although the project has closed, district leaders in West Nile sub-region have designed a sustainability strategy.
Implementation of the desk model. Desk meaning digitizing, equipping, supervising and compensating community health workers. This we did in Moyo district alone, and through this 472 VHTs were enrolled onto the national, onto the electronic community health information system, which is a Ministry of Health managed system for VHTs to be able to report digitally, but also to use the system in their routine work, more like a job aid.
Electronic community health information system improves communication between the VHTs and their communities. Also improves communication across the different levels of supervision right up to the district.
It is hoped that the implementation of the community health strategy will help to accelerate universal health coverage that is in line with the sustainable development goals of ensuring health and well-being. Cayenne Faith, Regan Ahumza for UBC.
Now, as we step back a little into the earlier Supreme Court ruling, with that landmark ruling, we want to once more hear how Chief Justice Alphonse Winyidolo declared.
It is therefore incumbent on the executive to generate the policy and Parliament to pass the legislation which addresses and clears the injustice occasioned by the unconstitutional provisions of the UPDF Act, which have now been quashed by providing for military courts that are clothed with the constitutional safeguards of independence and impartiality that are accorded to ordinary courts. In recognition of the special nature of the military, Legislation must be put in place that establishes and confers on the courts martial and tribunals the powers to execute lawful jurisdiction over members of the military, and thus fulfill the function of the UPDF. However, this special exercise of jurisdiction must not infringe on the soldier's right to a fair hearing. The state needs to act in order to ensure that the character of military courts and tribunals meet the democratic standards and aspirations of the people, which are clearly enshrined in the Constitution. It is noteworthy that the court advised in 2009, Uganda Law Society against Karugaba, that the military courts to be truly independent and impartial, there are desirable changes that the executive needs to address in order as follows. In order for this court, in order for this to be applicable to the military courts, the article would have to be modified in such a way as to give the courts independence and impartiality without compromising their military nature. The army would have a parallel judiciary with legally trained soldiers to professionally man the courts. In order to be impartial, the court must have security of tenure and other privileges enjoyed by the other judicial officers in the Ugandan judiciary. It should be noted that the definition of judicial officer contained in Article 151 does not exclude persons exercising judicial power in military courts, close quote. I consider the need for this recommended transformation as relevant today as it was then. In the premises, I would make the following recommendations for consideration by the Executive and Parliament as viable alternatives for the establishment and or creation of military courts in Uganda. These are recommendations. They can pick any, they can reject all, but these are recommendations which the people of Uganda hope to look into. A. Administratively establish the General Court Martial as a division of the High Court without the need to create a new court, with jurisdiction to handle capital criminal cases involving both military officers and any civilians who would exceptionally fall within its ambit, with magistrates within the division handling offences falling under their jurisdiction. B. Limit the functions of the unit disciplinary committees and summary trial authorities to handling strictly disciplinary offences with no power of imposing sentences or imprisonment. C. Utilize the existing magistracy to handle the rest of the criminal cases other than disciplinary offences committed in Uganda, which are currently falling within the docket of the UDCs. The subordinate military courts can handle criminal cases at the level of Chief Magistrate's Court for offences attracting life imprisonment and below. Or D. With the advice of the Judicial Service Commission, appoint civilians with the requisite professional legal qualifications to serve as judicial officers in the current subordinate military courts. They will exercise jurisdiction over offences triable by the subordinate courts. They should have the same privileges and safeguards as their counterparts in the civil courts. Or E. Amend the Constitution to establish superior courts within the military court system under Article 129.
Now away from the Supreme Court, now into Rotary Club of Upper Kololo. It has successfully reached its fundraising target of $40,000, marking a significant achievement in its commitment to supporting global humanitarian efforts. This milestone was celebrated with gratitude as members acknowledged the dedication and generosity of all contributors.
The Rotary Club of Upper Kololo currently has 84 active Rotarians, with 75 existing members and 54 contributing members, reflecting an impressive 72% giving rate per capita. Special appreciation was extended to the polio chair for spearheading fundraising efforts, ensuring continuous contributions towards Rotary's mission of eradicating polio worldwide.
Today we are hosting our partners from Mengo Hospital, Samaritan Home Health, Christian Blind Mission, and others who work with us to promote women and maternal health, and also to fight blindness. Not only that, but also we invited our donors. The club we are in now is one of the highest giving clubs, not only in Uganda, but in the whole region as a whole.
The club also recognized its 83 Rotarians contributing to the annual fund, 23 sustaining members giving at least $100 annually, and 11 Paul Harris Society members who each donate $1,000 or more to Rotary's annual fund, Polio Plus, all approved grants.
Rotary is about giving back to the communities, not strange, but the communities we live in, and we have to appreciate those people. They may be giving. To be in Rotary doesn't mean you have excess cash. It is sacrifice. People are giving part of their resources to promote good health in communities, to promote well-being, and that is what we are celebrating today at the Rotary Club of Upper Kololo.
Since the club's chartering, it has accumulated 14 new Paul Harris Society members and a total of 29 Paul Harris Fellows. Additionally, 6 members have attained the status of major donors, further strengthening the club's impact.
The Rotary Foundation is where we draw the funds for everything that we need and everything that we do in the communities, whether it is water, whether it's education, whether it's maternal and child health. Everything comes from the funds that we contribute to the Rotary Foundation. And so this afternoon we're here to celebrate some very generous Rotarians who've given their personal resources towards the work that we do.
During the event, new Paul Harris Society members were pinned, recognizing their generosity and commitment to Rotary's humanitarian programs.
And to our new inductees, we're welcoming them into our Rotary family. We know that they come in with generous hearts. We know that they come in with many skills, and we hope that they'll put both their resources and skills for the benefit of the less privileged.
Club leaders encouraged members to sustain their giving, emphasizing that these contributions drive meaningful change in communities worldwide. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, Watu Shule Limited, in partnership with Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, and Uganda Police Force, is dedicated to training border riders on responsible traffic rules. The company has established a dedicated training center aimed at streamlining and transforming the border business while working to reduce road accidents.
Every day, thousands of border riders navigate the streets of Kampala, many of whom lack proper training and riding permits. This contributes to the accidents, inefficiency, and an increasingly worsening traffic crisis. According to the Kampala Capital City Authority, there are approximately 300,000 border in the city, with a significantly high number of unregistered riders.
We know that road safety is a collective responsibility. It is not just a responsibility left for the ministry, left for KCCA, but we recognize all these other efforts by partner players such as Watu Shule. So ours usually is regulatory.
Traffic Police spokesperson Michael Kananura points out the difficulty in providing proper training for riders, noting that finding suitable venues for training has long been a challenge for law enforcement.
We had challenges of where these people have nowhere to train from, because as much as we're talking about these issues, then the next question is where do they train from? And people have always asked us, border borders are an issue, but where are they training from in Uganda? So thank you so much, Watushule, that you have come really to give a hand in as far as road safety is concerned.
With the opening of Wetu Shure, Uganda's first motorcycle training school, there is hope that formal training will instill discipline and improve road safety among border riders.
Basically, in a nutshell, is our riding school, which offers riding classes in terms of traffic rules, traffic regulations, but also most importantly provides the service of affording a driving permit to a successful student after the instruction to be able to be fully documented and compliant with the road safety of Uganda.
Studies indicate that trained riders can reduce traffic congestion by up to 20%, resulting in fewer crashes, faster travels, and a more organized city. Abdul Nasiri Lubwama for UBC.
Now, a total of 22 street children in Soroti City have been resettled back to their respective villages in the Teso sub-region after undergoing rehabilitation for a period of 1 year. The children were also given a shared package worth shilling 32 million by Teso Children Foundation, the organization that has been working in partnership with Soroti City Authority to ensure a smooth running of the rehabilitation exercise.
At least 22 street children in Soroti City have been resettled back to their respective villages in Teso sub-region after undergoing rigorous rehabilitation exercise for a period of 1 year. This becomes the 7th cohort of street children to be resettled by Teso Children Development Foundation since 2018. The majority of these children were picked mainly from Soroti streets where they had been for over 2 years. The director, Teso Children Development Foundation, Dennis Okwera, says during the process of rehabilitation, the children were taken through counseling sessions, technical skills training, and some taken back to school.
We always take 25 children in the house for rehabilitation. When they're here, we do skill training, counseling, school, and they stay with us for 1 year. Then we do resettle them back to their villages. On our resettlement, the kid goes back with a package of what he has done. We have a welder, we have a carpentry, we have mechanic, we have pond repair, and we have tailoring, and then the one who have school.
James Chemutai, the Deputy Resident City Commissioner, Soroti West Division, commended the organization for completing government programs of resettling these children.
I want to thank you so very much for realizing that you are still very important and that you can change and be better people that the country can depend on. I want you to consider yourselves to have fallen at one time. And so you have been picked up. Go and use those skills to help yourselves. I want to advise you, to advise your friends to move away from that type of life of street children.
A number of these former street children also applauded the organization and promised to change for better.
I'm very happy because I'm going home. I'm now at my carpenter, man. I'm happy so much to see the Kidepa give me many things. I'm so happy. I'm not going to come back again to the street. I want to complete with my skill them give me.
Teso Children Development Foundation is a faith-based, non-profit-oriented organization established in 2009 with an objective of ministering to children who have been victims of abuse, neglect, and abandonment within North, Eastern, and Karamoja regions.
And now straight away into a business section. The local communities in Karamoja sub-region are now finding hope through the developing resilience to extreme and severe drought project in Eastern Africa. The program has equipped farmers in the region with vital information, helping them to make more informed decisions for better crop production.
Through weather stations and early warning systems, developing resilience to extreme and severe drought project in East Africa has equipped farmers with the necessary information on how to deal with the impact of climate change.
When DRESS came, they came first of all, they helped us in learning how to use early warning mechanisms. After using the early warning mechanisms, then now they went into supporting us with the mitigation approaches that can try to build the resilience of the farmers.
A permaculture garden initiative in Moroto district is just one of the climate-smart solutions introduced by Developing Resilience to Extreme and Severe Drought project in East Africa. Farmers like Lomeri are now able to maximize their land use, producing more food and improving their resilience to drought.
This place was dry and this land was not even open. They had no idea completely. So when this project of DRESS came in support with the water project, the government of Uganda, water and environment. So they were able to give them training and skills. So they cope up with skills, and then after that they trained them, and then they adapted the knowledge. So they were now able to come up with this knowledge, and then they demonstrated the garden, and they were able to benefit.
Water management is a priority in the region, and the project has implemented crucial measures like protecting boreholes and improving water conservation to support both agriculture and livestock.
So under the DRESS project, we have an activity which has helped at least to pilot what we call soil and water conservation measures. And these soil and water conservation measures are measures done on land or in a garden to improve the quality of the soil, but also to improve the amount of water or the retention period of the water within that soil.
In Nakiroro village, vegetable farming is thriving, though farmers like Logitu Robert still face obstacles due to unpredictable weather, highlighting the need for ongoing adaptation.
And the only challenges that even we faced and that we are even still facing right now, it is water. Lack of water, because we don't have those equipments that can help us to distribute water to the garden. Then also at the time when we grew a lot of tomatoes and all other vegetables, we really lacked. We faced a challenge of transporting those vegetables to those markets, to Moroto and other places that are in need of it.
Supported by the Adaptation Fund, the project is proving that with the right tools and knowledge, communities can overcome the challenges posed by climate change. Valerie Mwahulwa, UBC News.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees.
A smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
The Ministry of Water and Environment, in collaboration with its partners, invites you to the commemoration of World Wetlands Day on February 2nd, 2025 at Katerera Playground, Rubirizi District, starting at 9 a.m. The theme for this year is Conserving Wetlands Today for a Secure Tomorrow. The guest of honor is His Excellency the President of Uganda. Let's celebrate the vital role of wetlands in sustaining life and livelihoods. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Rubirizi District Local Government, in partnership with UNDP and GCF projects.
Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UCUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UCSAF, and we are happy that UCSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. The Uganda Tennis Association Thursday evening welcomed back the Ugandan team that took part in this year's East African 16, 14 and under tennis individual and teams championship that climaxed in Kenya last weekend. The team of girls and boys played in 3 events: individuals, 14 and under, 16 and under individuals, and doubles for the 16, 14 and under, coming out with gold, silver and bronze in the 14 and under boys from Sam Okello and Cosmos Muguria, who also won silver in the doubles. Tony Blair claimed bronze for the 16 under boys. Uganda was against 9 other countries.
Nairobi for East Africa Zonals Championships. The event was very good and stiff. 10 countries in place, as the chairman said. The first 4 days were individual games, where there was stiff competition amongst some other tough players in the region. And then the last 4 days of the team events, 14 and under team, led by Samuel Okello, did tremendous work to make sure that they claimed the victory. Individual overall performance, we were third. Last year we were third as well.
It's so good because I managed to improve a lot. Last time I played the individual and I stopped in the second round, whereby this time I stopped in the semi-final. It was all because of the hard work I did from here. That's why I performed well in the tournament.
Tennis is really developing in Uganda. We used to hear of old names. They have done their parts. Many of them have moved on. we are now grooming young people to take over this sport, and we have big plans for them. We are going to take them back to Nairobi from the 24th to participate in this time Africa-wide tournament.
Allow me to drum my sounds of appreciation to the technical team that handled these champions of ours. We are all aware it's not an easy feat, especially when it comes to a generation of this caliber. Grooming them, imparting skills in them, and controlling them, especially at a tournament of that caliber.
Now, still in sports, Alpesh Ramjani and Cyrus Kakuru put on a good show in the second one-day Hong Kong-China Tri-Series fixture as the Cricket Cranes dominated Bahrain to seal a 150-run win. The game played at Hong Kong Cricket Club in Wong Nai Chung Gup saw Uganda batting fast and setting a score of 275 runs before being bowled out in 46.5 overs. In defense, Uganda needed only 32.2 overs to bowl out Bahrain, who scored only 120 runs, hence Uganda winning by 150 runs. Alpesh Ramjani's 57 runs and Cyrus Kakuru's 69 runs was a standout, as Alpesh Ramjani's 5 wickets and Cosmos Cheuta's 2 wickets were the standout bowlers, with Alpesh Ramjani's claiming the Man of the Match award. The one-day Hong Kong-China Tri-Series that has seen Uganda and Bahrain battle may be the Challenge League B's second league that will take place in Hong Kong, China from the 14th to 17th February 2025.
In first game, and we want them to go and face some balls in the middle. Yeah, our bowling is always on top. They just give us some good bowling spells in every game, T20, one day, every time. Yeah.
As you know, this ground is lovely, and bowling at this paradise was a dream. It was a tough one because the wicket had nothing for the spinners. But you know, once you bowl a good line and length, you get the reward for whatever you do. So yeah, keeping things simple was a plan for me, and that's how it turned out for me. Yeah, it's part of the game. Unfortunately, I got run out, but at the end of the day, the total that we were expecting that we need to put, we tried to put it on the board. And yes, we were a few runs short, but we'll make sure that we capitalize in the next game.
Uganda.
Well, that's it from us. Once again, thank you so much for sticking with us right from 8 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Very good night to you, but UBC programming continues.